Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to the virtual class of ISC class 11.
Political science.
I have already discussed the first part of the chapter, that is the meaning of political science and the differences between politics and political science. Okay, then the modern definition, modern views of political science, and traditional views of political science, I have already discussed. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss the topic which is yeah, this is the one, the political science, that is the scope. So we are going to discuss about the scope of political science. Okay, scope of political science. So now we have to understand what actually is mean by the scope. What actually is mean by the scope? What is the meaning of scope? So the meaning of scope is area of study. Okay, so area of study. This is the one. Okay, so area of study. So whenever we talk about the scope of political science, whenever we start the lesson, and when we talk about what is the meaning of scope, what actually is mean by this term scope, then the students definitely get confused what actually is mean by the scope. So the meaning of scope is the area of a study. Okay, area, that means to what length, to what extent we can study about political science. So what is the limit of political science? So when we study political science related to state and government, so political studies are over? No, my dear. Political science is not a subject, as I have told earlier, my dear. It is a discipline. Political science is a discipline. Okay, so the various dimensions of political science we have to study. That means there are lots and lots of things, my dear, which comes under the study of political science. Life will be over, my dear. The study of political science may not be over. So that is why it is said to the first sentence you can see here. Political science has been continuously developing. So what it is? Political science is developing continuously. New things are being added up. Okay, modern philosophers are adding to the subject and all. So continuously it is developing. So modern political scientists they varies in opinion with the traditional political philosophers and all, but this study of political science is improving, developing, as well as expanding. Okay, so it is mentioned over here, the scope has been changing as well as expanding. That means the scope of political science, the area, the study of political science is changing as well as expanding. The study, the area, the length of political science is, that means it is changing all the time. Okay, children. So now you can see here, presently, it is mentioned over here that, so you can see here, presently, so you can see here, presently the political science, the study of political science, okay, the study of political relations, interactions, institutions, and process involved in the exercise of power in each society, as well as the struggle for power among all nations. So it is expanding. So presently, so what is involved? What is the study all about? So study involves all political relations, interactions, institutions, and the process involved in the exercise of power. Okay. Now you can see here, there are five major dimensions of political science. So one by one, if you study these political dimensions, my dear, today I think the class is going to be lengthy. So anyhow, I'm going to complete this today only. Okay, so patiently, please watch it and try to understand it. Okay, so you can see here, five political dimensions of political science includes political theory. Okay, the first one is political theory. Second one is just a minute. Okay, okay. First one is political theory. Second one is comparative politics. Third one is international relations, public administration, and the political economy. So when we study this things, my dear. You may think that it is a very small thing, only 5 topics are to be studied and the political science over. No, my dear, it is a large, that means it has a larger dimension. When you just pick up or touch one topic, it will continue to change and evolve. Okay, so let us start with political theory. So when we study about political theory, what is the scope of political theory? Now you can see here. So as you know that our political science starts, that means begins and ends with the state, isn't it? It started with the beginning of a state and it will come to an end when the state will come to an end. So when we study the theory of political science, my dear, so you can see here, study of state. So when we study about the state, my dear, we have to keep focus on the present condition of the state, the present theory of the state, the past theory of the state, as well as what will be the future of the state. Okay, now you can see here, it involves an historical study of origin and development of the state. So as you know, the state has been developing and changing from time to time. Okay, so you can see the present structure and nature of state has been the result of evolution. That is also true. Whatever state in which we live today is a change, is a result of evolution, is a result of evolution. Okay, divine origin theory, we'll study about all this in divine origin theory, social contract theory, evolutionary theory. So as time passed, my dear, the state also kept on changing and evolving. So we need to understand, in order to understand the present evolution of the state, my dear, we need to focus on the past, how the state was in the past. Okay, so in order to study about the future, we need to study about the present. The state is a sovereign institution of all people who inhabit. That means whoever lives in the state, inhabitants, okay, particular portion of territory and organized government. That means state, small definition is given over about the state. State is a community of person. When we study about a state, there one definition of Gardner we have to study. State is a community of person, okay, more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory, okay, in which the organized body of inhabitants render habitual obedience to the government. So that we have to study. Okay, so you can see here, the state is a sovereign institution of all people who inhabit a particular person. Okay, that is all about the state. So this is the territory in which we live. The territory in which we live, that is a state. Okay, now the study. What is the study of the state? The study of objectives, aims. What is the purpose of the state? What is the aim of the state? What is the function of the state? What is the relation between state and the people? People live in a state, so what should be the relation between people and the state? That also need to be understood clearly and studied properly. This is one of the important topics. Then let us now move on to the future. Study of state in future. The study of the past, study of the present of the state is done basically to assess the forces of the future. When we study the present and the past, what we foresee? We foresee the future of the state. Okay, so political science tries to answer the questions. What type of questions they try to answer? How the state is likely to develop, in what way should it develop, what should be the relation with people in the future, what function should it perform, and how should it perform its function. Okay, the reforms of the state in future. So what type of state we expect in future can be studied by studying the present condition of the state as well as past theories of the state. That will give us a good idea about the future of the state. Okay, now see, we are studying about the theories. First topic you can see here, political theory and its scope. So we are studying about the theory. Now second one is study of government. So once we pick the topic the government, then definitely you understand that the study of government goes on and goes on and goes on, my dear. The study of the government is a never ending process, my dear. Okay, you can see a government is an essential element of the state. One of the most important element of the state is the government. Okay, so you can see a study of state essentially involves the study of government. So here it is very, very interesting and important for us to understand that how and in what way the relationship is built between the state and the government. Okay, so what is government? Government, you can see here, it formulates the will of the state. Government formulates the will of the state. So government is a lawmaking body, executing body, okay, and the judicial body. So the three organs of the government. So once we start about legislature, executive, and the judiciary, the study can be much more larger than what we expect. Okay, so the study of government involves the study of legislature, executive, and judiciary. Okay, study of legislature. Okay, you can see here legislature, executive, and judiciary. These three things, my dear. These three things we need to study. Okay, judiciary, then the first one is legislature, then the second one is executive. So all this we need to study when we study about the government. Okay, so government, whatever government can be of different types. Okay, the government can be a democratic government. Okay, government is there. Okay, Plato is there, Aristotle is there, Machiavelli. They are great political philosophers. Bodin, Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, Hegel, Green, J.S. Mill, Marx, Lasky, Lenin, and other forms of valuable parts. These are the one. These are the people. These are the great political philosophers, my dear, who have given various studies, who have done various studies on topics like democratic socialism, liberalism, communism, socialism, fascism, Nazism, Gandhianism. Okay, so see, we cannot, that means study, the scope is never ending. The study of political science cannot, we cannot we cannot fix age that this is the place where political science finishes. There is no such, political science is indefinite. Okay, the scope of political science keeps on developing and changing. Okay, now you can see a study of all political systems. So if you start studying the political system of various countries, if you start studying about India, then China, Pakistan, and the Western countries as well as non-Western countries, okay, how it is developing, and what type of political condition does the developing country has, underdeveloping country has. Okay, so all this comes under the ambit of the study of political science. Okay, now what should be the relation? We say, no, man is a social animal. Man, of course, is a social animal. Along with being a social animal, man is a political being. Okay, why we call it as a political being? Because we indulge ourselves in politics. Okay, it is mentioned over here, man is a political animal. Man is a political animal. Why? He is a group forming individual. It is the human beings, a man who forms a group. Okay, he seeks power and forms his associations for protecting his interests and for getting power. All human political organization, political relations, and political activities studied in political theory. State and government are two major human political organizations. These are two major political human. These organizations are run by the people, human beings. Okay, so you can see here in contemporary times it is done by the use of several modern concept of political system, political culture, political socialization, political development, and several others. Okay, children. Now, six. We have just started. Lots and lots of topics will be coming under this scope of political science. Now you can see study of interest group, pressure group, civil societies, political parties. All these are to be studied under one umbrella, that is political science. Okay, the scope of political science also includes the study of all those non-government, non-formal political groups and institutions which affect the policies and the functionings of the government of the state. Okay, now next one, study of election and political parties. Once we study what is election, how is election conducted, okay, what are the various forms of election, okay, who all are involved, what is the duty of the human political animal, that is human beings, during elections. You can see here modern studies of political science give added importance to the study of election and electoral politics. So the voting behavior and the participation of the people in politics is also the study matter of political science. Okay, election, electoral politics, voting behavior, and participation of people in politics. So we need to study about it. So when we study about the relation between the people and the politics, that also is to be studied. That is also a subject of political science. Okay, now next one, point number 8, study of leadership. That is also very, very important. So in political science, whenever we form the government, we need a leader. So when we study about the leadership quality, the capacity of the leader, the goal of a leader, that is also the subject matter of political science. Okay, so political leaders exercise political power in the state. Political leaders, they exercise political power through political process in a state. They articulate and aggregate the interests and demands of people. What are the demands the people are brought in front of the government and are fulfilled by them through the political process. So study about this is also very, very important part of political science. Okay, now study of comparative politics. Consider when we study, when we compare the politics of different countries, right? Suppose for example, if you compare the politics of India and USA, that is also a subject matter. When we compare the constitution of India with USA or UK or Japan, that is also a subject matter of political science. Okay, the interrelations of the government, like when we study about India, legislature, executive, judiciary, they have a very good relation, very cordial relation. Okay, but when we study about the three organs of the government of USA, so there the separation of power is there. Okay, the same political concept is studied in different ways as per the existing political process of that country. Okay, now study of political concept, theories, approaches. So all these things comes under the study of political science. When we study about sovereignty, okay, just a simple word sovereignty, a book can be written on it. A different philosopher, they have given different views about political science, that means theories about political science on sovereignty. Law is there, liberty is there, equality is there, rights are there, justice is there, as well as several modern concept of political system. Okay, study a political process. Another important part of the scope of political science contemporary time is the study of actual behavior. That is the actual behavior. Whose actual behavior of the people in various process of politics. Okay, we are involved in politics in different ways. The first person is a voter, second person is a contestant. Okay, and the person who forms the government, and they make policies, and the policy making, okay, are in their hand. Decision making, electoral process, voting, all this comes under the study of political science. So the voting behavior, political participation, leadership recruitment, elite behavior, okay, mass politics, populism form the part of study of this. All forms, you can see here, these all forms a part of study of politics. Okay, now you can see here study of similarities and dissimilarities among various political structures. So in the first part I told you, no, there can be a similarities between two separate political institutions. Study of infrastructure, interdisciplinary study. Okay, that means what is related with political science, like sociology can be connected with political science, psychology can be connected with political science, cultural and anthropology can be connected with political science. That is said, no, there is a relation between history and political science, there is a relation between history and sociology, isn't it? There is a relation between psychology and political science, relation between economics and political science. So it is said, no, without history there can be no political science, and without political science there cannot be any history. Without politics, no history. Without history, no politics. So everything are interrelated. Okay, so that was the first topic we completed about the political theory. So what was the topic? You can see here political theory and its scope. Political theory and its scope. Now next one, number 2 is comparative politics. Let us move down. Comparative politics. Okay, now see here comparative politics and its scope. So what is the scope of comparative politics? When we compare, when we make a study comparing two different elements, two different political political functioning of different countries, my dear, that is known as comparative politics. Okay, now you can see here scope of comparative politics, all political structure. when we start the structure of the government legislature. Let us compare the legislature of India, UK, India, US, India, China. So this is how, my dear, we understand that a comparative politics is also one of the most important segment of political science and the study of political science. Okay, functional studies, study of political behavior, study of similarities and differences. You can see this part. Comparative politics also undertakes an analysis of the similarities and differences among political processes and functions. However, the approach is non-descriptive, legalistic, and formalistic. It is on the basis of actual functioning of that means what actually is functioning. So the study can be done on the basis of actual functioning of the different political systems, not based on theory. Let us understand the concept politically with practical approaches. Okay, how the two different governments works, that can be understood and studied when we observe it properly. Then only we can make a differences, when we can make a similarities and differences between two political systems. Okay, now study of all political system, what it is. So you can see study of all political system, comparative politics seeks to analyze the actual behavior and performance of all political system. Okay, actual behavior of all political system are studied within the scope of political. So the students, you might be thinking that, sir, what sir is actually teaching? Sir is simply reading the book. It is not so, my dear. I am trying to focus your attention towards the topics which are included in your book, which you need to study and read, so that you can study the concept properly. Otherwise, the scope, the simple meaning of scope is area of study. To what length, to what extent we can study about political science. Okay, so are we going to end political science today? No, never. We cannot end it. You cannot end the study of political science. If you, so just for example, if you start studying about the Constitution of India, after completing the Constitution of India, you can study the Constitution of China, Constitution of America, Constitution of UK, then different types of constitution, written constitution, unwritten constitution. So it keeps on going and going, my dear. But the study of political science will not come to an end. Okay, study of environment and infrastructure of politics, so that is also to be studied. Okay, study of political culture. Okay, like political culture is composed of attitudes, beliefs. Okay, attitudes, beliefs, emotions, and the values of society, values of society. Okay, so these beliefs are very very important, my dear, because this belief and values greatly influence the behavior of each political system. Your attitude, your belief, your emotion is going to influence the behavior of each political system. If you compare the politics of China, North Korea with India, how it differs on the basis of attitude and beliefs and the emotions and the value of the society. It makes the differences of the political system if you compare India with North Korea or China. Okay, now study of political socialization, study of political participation. Okay, how people participate. Okay, like you can see here, political participation, you can see this, political participation provides legitimacy to the government and administration. Okay, it brings stability in the system, how we are related, how we join the government, how we are a part of the government, how we make the government successful, how we are involved with parties and party politics. So that continues as a legacy, my dear. Okay, the student of comparative politics seeks to understand, when the students of political science, my dear, when they seek to understand as to how political participation influence the functional aspect of political system, how the people's involvement to politics, how the people in that involvement in the forming of government forces the very basis of political science, how our attitude, how our participation influences the formation of the government. So that can be studied by political sciences students. Okay, study of political parties. Various political parties are there. right? If you start from India, BJP party is there, Congress is there, RJD is there, LG, so many. So if you go to America, two political parties are the UK, two political. So if you start studying about the ideologies and their beginning and the process of functioning, that also forms the study of political science. Okay, study of power, influence, authority, legitimacy, all this comes under the comparative politics. Okay, study of political process. Now the third one is international relation and its scope. International relation and its scope, you can see here what type of relation every country keeps with the other nations, my dear, that also is a part of the study of political science. Whatever relation we have with Bhutan, whatever relation we have with China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, America, Japan, Italy, okay, USS, Russia, all these are the subject matter of interrelations of political science. Okay, you can see here every state, we cannot live in isolation. As I told you, no state can live in isolation. Every state needs to work and cooperate together for making the world beautiful for peaceful living. So nation states are primary actors in international relations. Naturally, international politics studies relations and interaction. Okay, international politics studies international relations and interaction between two or more states. Two or more states. Okay, each state is conditioned by its own geography. So every state, they have their own geography, they have their own resources, their population is different, their industrialization is different, technology, the technological development is different, ideology of the country is different, diplomacy of the country is different, and the national interest of that country is different. If you talk about China, the national interest does not match with India's national interest. Okay, if you compare America's national interest, their interest and our interest is completely different. Okay, so all this comes under the study of political science. Okay, now next one we have is national interest. National interest, since national interest is the objective that each nation tries to secure during the course of relations with other nations, it becomes impurity for international politics. So it is very, very important to understand the national interest of all the, what is the interest of our nation, what is the interest of America, what is the interest of Japan. So that also comes under the study of political science. Foreign policy, what is the foreign policy of India? A separate topic. If you study that, also is the study of political science. What is the foreign policy of America? That also. So, if we start studying the foreign policies of all the countries, my dear, just imagine, can we complete political science? Can we say that political science can be ended? So, let me tell you, my dear, political science begins. Let me tell you, political science begins and ends with the state. So, when the state will come to an end, political science also will come to an end. Okay, so the scope, that means the area of political science is vast, large, and it is expanding. Okay, now economic instrument of international relations. So this is also there. When two countries maintains a friendly relation, they involve in they provide foreign help. Okay, loans are provided, trading relations develops between two nations. So this all also comes under the study of political science. Okay, now you can see here, when we study about NGOs, that means non-government organizations, human right organization, peace, they also, that means whatever is being done within the state is the study of political science. It is not that only the government performance is the study of political science. No, my dear, human right organization is there, NGOs movements are there, my dear. All this also comes under the study of political science. Okay, number and the role of MNCs, multinational companies, non-state actors has been steadily increasing, and it's essentially for us to study this. We have to study about them. So that means simple thing is there, my dear. Whatever happens within the state, and when we study about that, is the study of political science. Okay, regulators of international relation, different countries are there which regulates the trading relation, international relation between two countries, my dear. So it is there, my dear, like arms control is there, collective security is there, let us fight against terrorism, so collective security is there, international the politics, my dear. what is public administration and what is the scope, to what extent we can study about the scope of public administration, which is also the part of political science. You can see here, public administration now stands recognized as separate social discipline. Its knowledge is also deemed as necessary component of political science. You can see here, its knowledge is also deemed as necessary component of the process of making and implementing authoritative and binding policies, laws, decisions, rewards, deprivations, and rules. So, my dear children, the what is mean the public administration? The administration of the entire country in the hands of public servants. On top, the governments are there. Okay, so this also form the study of political science. Civil servants are there. You might have studied about civil servants. Various departments are there. Okay, so all this together, political executive and permanent executive together forms the executive, and they are responsible for looking after the administration of the country. Okay, public administration is continuously involved in policy making. So who is involved? Public administration, decision making, planning, and the work to be done, formulating the goals, working with legislature, directing. That means public administration means the workers. That means the public servants, so with the help of the political executives, they come up with policy making, decision making, and they plan and formulate the goals and the working of the legislature. Okay, now you can see here, every society has its own political system, economic system, culture. Okay, the political system consists of interaction and relations involved in the struggle for power. Okay, now you can see this last, public administration is a system of executing public policies. Public administration is a system of executing public policies as formulated by the competent authority. The competent authority has formulated the policy, and that is to be executed and implemented by the public administrator, who is also known as civil servants. Okay, now you can see the study of public administration. Administrative theory is there. Okay, like about it include the structure, organization, functions. How will the administration be composed of? Who is going to compose? Okay, what will be their functions? What will be their duties? What will be the duties of the executive? Okay, what will be the duty of legislative? Okay, so you can see here, the administrative theory implies that public administration is concerned with the administrative activities of the government, that is executive, legislative, and judicial. Okay, so the entire structural, organization, function, and methods of all types. Okay, whether national, regional, or local, and whether it is executive or ordinary. It also includes planning, program, everything has to come under this administrative theory. So when we study administrative theory, all this comes under the study of administrative theory, which forms a part of the study of political science. Applied administration, political, legislation, financial, defense, educational. So when we study about legislation, that is also political science. Okay, study of political science. When we study your financial aspect of any country, that is also the study of political science. We're studying political science. When we study about defense, which includes military administration, that also is the study of political. So my dear children, let me tell you that the entire study which takes place within the state is the study of political science. Okay, now you can see here, local administration covers administration of local bodies. So we're talking about administration. Okay, from the top, local for that means administrative bodies are there, and slowly the branches comes on spreading, and at the village level, local administration functions. Okay, the scope of public administration is very wide. You can see here, scope of public administration is very wide. Okay, it is said it is not only concerned with the development of new administrative techniques, but also includes the ecological and human aspects of public administration. Okay, why? Because it gives due importance to the study of environment in which the administration operates. Due importance to environment in which the administration operates. Okay, children. And the last one is political economy and the scope. So definitely every political process is related to the economy also. Okay, economic factors of politics, political factors of economic, needs and compulsions, need of economy of the state, nature of budgeting, nature of issue of international all these are also to be studied. So here we can compare, we can make a comparative study. So in a contemporary study of political science essentially involve the study of political economy. Okay, you can see here this part is political economy studies the economic environment and the compulsion of politics. Okay, okay, now you can see. So all this part, my dear, if you study, you can. So if you're asked what is the scope of political science, you will get enough material to write your answer. Okay, children, this is all about political science theory. That means the concept of political science we have studied. Okay, so this is the end as per the syllabus till now. This part is not required. Nature of political science. Okay, is political science a science? This is not asked till now, so we'll wait for the syllabus. Okay, further reduce syllabus if it comes, because last year in the previous session 2021 this topic was not there. Okay, this was not there, so we are not going to do this. Okay, so I hope you all have gone through and you have come to know about the political aspect and the scope of political science in detail. Okay, in spite of this, if you still have any doubts, you can please feel free to ask me through comments and through my Instagram messages. Okay, children, so we'll meet again with a new chapter, that is the fundamental concept, that is the state, theory of state, in the next tutorial. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.